We're talking about mythical creatures. We're
Yes.
talking about
Yeah, I did
legendary creatures, cryptids, and
cryptids. Yeah.
also just things that have been very hard to prove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I mean, these
scientific
aren't
evidence
hard.
is
So
little on them.
let's be honest, they're not hard to prove. You just gotta believe a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like the Kraken, right? Let's be honest. That's not very far fetched. I can imagine there being a giant squid. Okay, that's gone extinct because you think these things eat giant creatures, right? So these, I mean, they've gone extinct for sure. They have to have. They've had to exist and then gone extinct. And now we have the giant squid, which are huge, but they're not ship huge. So when was Moby Dick? Was that like 17 something, right? When
Oh,
Moby
it was a
Dick
long,
was.
long time ago, man. Back when paperback was a thing.
Oh no, Moby Dick was. Sorry, that doesn't have the Kraken in it, right? What am I thinking of?
Yeah, Moby Dick's not the Kraken. Remember? And
Yeah,
what's that move? That movie, with the guy that played Avatar. That guy. He played in the Shack.
I think
The guy that plays Jake Sully?
Yes. That guy was like a Trojan warrior.
Wasn't it
or
like it was like
whatever.
Prometheus, right? Or something like that.
Yes.
No, Prometheus
No, it wasn't
Prometheus
Prometheus.
was the
Space
moon
movie.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking
It
about.
was like a Kraken. What is that?
I think I know what movie you're talking about. I just can't think.
I'm trying to remember.
Um,
All
Clash
right,
of
well,
Titans.
Clash of Titans 2 was with the Kraken.
yeah.
Yeah, so but anyways, we have these sites of the Kraken, right?
Sure.
It's not far-fetched to believe that their prey went extinct, you know, and like the big creatures, and they couldn't find prey, and the big Kraken either the Kraken either evolved into the giant squid, in which it shrunk because it couldn't find prey to sustain its size, or they went extinct altogether, and all we have are remnants of like giant squid. You know what I'm saying? Which actually, funny enough, kill more people than sharks do.
So do you think that these giant creatures were creatures, or do you think that they were like some sort of like demonic creature that existed beyond
Like
the physical realm?
Like, do I think the Kraken is like a demonic creature?
Not
Or
just
do I
demonic.
I think it was an
almost.
animal.
Okay,
I think
so
it was
an animal. You
I
think it
think
was
Yeah.
a
it I think
real
it was a
life
fish.
animal that
Yep.
has
Yeah.
now died off because its prey was
Yeah.
not large enough for it to sustain its massive
Exactly.
size.
Yeah.
Which would
That's a
make
good
sense.
That's a
Which
good
would make
theory.
sense why it attacked ships.
Well, that's the thing. If it's not a carnivore, then maybe it can eat all whatever. It can eat giant ships. It can eat lots of people all at once. It can consume stuff like oil. There's the thing called the Bermuda Triangle. We don't know too much about the Bermuda Triangle.
It's
Is that
crazy.
where the Kraken exists? Is that
well,
where Atlantis went?
is Atlantis the Bermuda Triangle?
Boy, is Atlantis
Ooh.
the Bermuda Triangle? That's a good one.
Yeah,
Mind blown.
but like that's what I'm saying. So I honestly think the Kraken's real, or was real, and it's gone now. Because you know it couldn't find prey, or it couldn't find substance. You know what I'm saying? Something might have changed. Global warming ignited. I'm just kidding. No, well,
that makes sense.
yeah, I think it was and either evolved smaller or.
That's fair.
So I just that's my segue.
So what time period do you think it existed from? Like, is there like it's in folklore. So when did it exist in folklore? There's got to be a reference.
You gotta think it's gotta be Vikings.
Before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be around that time, around where people started sailing the seas for sure.
Right.
Because
origins, Kraken's origins.
The origin had. Let's see.
It is. It's Scandinavian folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be. I believe. Like I could be wrong. I think the Vikings
12th, all the way back to the 12th century.
Yeah, I would have to say the Vikings. I think were like the first like sailors, to an extent. I'm not sure about that. That was. I mean, I have Google, so we could find out real quick.
it's just crazy to think that there. Well, okay, here's the thing though. Was it really a giant squid, or was it just like a 25-foot squid that just took over Viking ships? And then the guy that survived was like, "It's this just giant monster that just ripped us all apart." And it's like half of you guys just kind of drowned in the water and all of the ships in the cold water and stuff like that.
Oh,
Hmm.
weird.
Or
So,
is it
so the
really this
Sumerians were the first people to
Sumerians?
Hmm.
Where Samaria, like,
they created the first sail in 1300 BCE.
Wow.
So
Hmm.
so are they the ones that first discovered it?
they created the sail. I don't think so. No.
Okay, so they created the sail. I'm more worried about
Well, that's what I'm
what.
saying. So like that's around I would feel around the time that people, maybe like give it, I don't know, a couple, maybe 100 years or so, and that would circulate around the world, I'm sure. You know what
So
I'm saying?
here's another question for you,
Maybe even
Ryan.
20 years.
So like I'm gonna kind of play this little role, like the Sasquatch, Bigfoot, the Yeti, the Swamp Man, the Ape Man, all of these kind of are categorized. I think it's there's other ones, for all other, kind of cultures and languages and things of such. But like, do you think that for the Kraken, there's the same thing all around the world? Do you think that there's the same thing for like werewolf all around the world? Like,
Oh,
to
absolutely.
me, to me, it's one of those things. It's like all these cultures have a word and a language and an idea of what it is, and it's similar. So it's like
So what you're saying is like the not
there's a
not
lot of
necessarily, but the Loch Ness monster could have been a Kraken.
yes. Loch Ness monster could have been a Kraken.
You know what I'm saying?
Godzilla could have been a Kraken. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I could see that because
or or
everybody
Godzilla
has
could have
a
been Leviathan
yeah,
or something of that nature.
absolutely. Yeah,
But
I don't
like,
think
yeah,
yeah,
everybody's like
I
coming
know
up
it's
with
like,
these
oh,
creatures.
there's so many different ones. It's like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
if there's
yeah,
just like a collective, like a lot of them, and they're
like a
just
species, a
like a
species.
species is
Yeah,
spread out, and
a
it's like
species of
over
giant
time,
creatures.
they've just gone extinct. It's like people are like,
Yeah.
well, we have no evidence. It's like,
Well,
nah,
think about it.
really,
Think about it. Isn't
really,
there? Think
you think
about
we
it.
would have evidence?
There's like the food chain type thing, right? So what if in early times every like species, like every bird, every fish, every reptile had like like this mother ant that was just ginormous,
hmm
like a megalodon, a Godzilla type thing, or like you know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
actually
absolutely, bro,
not a
bro.
bad.
a
That's not a
a
bad point either. Could you imagine
ginormous,
like a giant King Kong,
you
like
know
an
what I'm
actual
saying?
giant
And
like
you just got
gorilla,
all
like
these little
running around?
gorillas walking. Yeah,
Leader,
yeah,
you are our leader.
and it's
King
just
Kong's real, bro. Didn't you
ginormous.
see the movie?
Yeah.
King Kong is real. All right,
Yep.
what other creature do you have there? What other critter? Wait, cryptid. What other cryptid do you have?
So the funny thing is, there's not actually no one knows what they look like. No one's seen them.
Just an idea.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's the crazy thing about this next one is it's actually so it's from English and kind of American, folklore. It's called Tommy Knocker. There's actually a book about it. I don't think the book's actually about. I thought about reading it, but I didn't have enough time between podcasts. By Stephen King. So shameless plug there, I guess, or not shameless, but little plug there for Stephen King, great author. But this is so back in the day, it's not really prevalent now because of the way we mine. But back in the day, these Tommy knockers or knockers that we would say in America, but in England they're called Tommy knockers, were
Knockers.
believed they were believed to be gremlins or like little elves that
Okay.
Hmm.
knocked on the cave. And it usually you would hear it pre-cave in. So some people thought that it was like a bad omen. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, there's gonna be a cave in. And then from the other point of view, some people thought it was a good thing, like the Tommyknockers are trying to warn people to get out. And honestly, this could just be pressure from above, the pressure of Earth on these. support beams could be the knocking. You know what I'm saying? So it could be real, could not be real. You know what I'm saying? And it's not really prevalent now because we mine differently. Not a big deal, But some cave, like I guess are they spelunkers?
I think I sent you guys a video. Do you want to tell me if you think this is a Tommy knocker or not?
Yeah, we'll check it out.
You're talking about Tommy knockers. They don't really have an idea of what Tommy knockers are because they haven't really seen a Tommy knocker.
Mhm.
Tommy knockers, what'd you say? They exist in the caves.
Yeah, caves, yeah.
Legend says, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
They're,
All right,
they're
so
mostly they're found underground as much like no one. I don't think anyone's really seen them so much. But
I
I know
don't-
miners would like leave the rest. They would throw their extra food as like an
Hmm.
offering to them,
Okay.
and they would leave like clay dolls and stuff, or clay like they'd make like clay things and like the image of the knocker and like leave
Okay.
it in the mines
Okay.
too.
Okay.
So I mean, this is like it's one of those like, I guess superstitions that everyone believes. So
All right.
in
So
in that trade,
this is kind of this video says it's an alien, and I don't necessarily believe in aliens for the most part. I think that most things are already here for the most part. Creatures that are here, they're kind of here and they're not going anywhere for the you know. But what do you think?
Hocam. Aç. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Did you hear that?
Hocam bu ne ya? Ana. Oğlum.
O ne?
Hocam. Vallahi içeride bir şey var. Var ya burada bir şey sıkışmış bak. Taşın içinde bir şey var. Ana da
No,
Yo, hold up.
go back.
Hold
Go
up.
back. And he's freaking out.
That joke.
He's losing it. See, I'm already
I was
like
trying
6
to,
feet ahead.
bro. I was trying to figure out what they were looking at.
Look at his. You can see his eyes. You see, well, his or what or it. I don't know. Somebody with a mask. Somebody's
What?
sitting right there. What is that? And it moves.
so if you
Var
look
ya
up
burada bir şey sıkışmış bak. Taşın içinde bir şey var.
oh,
That is not
no,
human, bro.
dude.
You-
Oh,
no.
no.
Dude,
No, bro.
No,
I'm
dude.
out of there.
This is the thing. That right there, you're not gonna say, "Oh yeah, well that's There's no word for that.
Hmm.
Who goes out in the middle of nowhere at night with a mask on their head to pull a joke like that?
Yeah, that's
That's silly, man. Those are grown-ups. I don't know. I know people do pranks and things like that, but you can tell they're in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
Absolutely not.
Nah, bro.
Nah, bro. Could that be real? It could be. Could that be fake just to get, like some views? People be like that, dude.
That's true. They do be.
What were they? My question is, what were they doing out there? You know what I'm
Huh?
saying? What were they doing at night? You know what I'm saying? They're obviously up to no good.
Dude, they're up to no good. They're doing stuff they're not supposed to. That's fine. They could be camping. They could be doing their own property fishing. They could be throwing rocks. They could be blowing up stuff. Who cares? That's not supposed to happen.
No.
Yeah, I don't know
like-
what that was.
That's like saying we just discovered a species that's never been seen, never been, brought up or ever. And they're like, what were you doing to find it? It's like, does that really matter? Okay, I was somewhere I was not supposed to be, but I'm letting y'all know that this thing right here is out here and y'all need to do something about it. Bro,
Do you
that-
stay or do you run?
I
I'm
run,
dipped.
bro.
No, heck
I'm
no.
out.
Did
On
you
the
hear that
on
thing?
the noises,
Nah.
the noises alone
See?
sound like a mountain lion, and I'm
out, yeah.
I'm like, nah, they're
Yeah.
like, that could have been anything. I don't want to test it out.
You're not gonna put your
No,
hand in the
that's-
hole?
Bro,
Mm-mm. No, sir.
that's
No,
not
sir.
my place at that point, bro. I gotta get
Mm-mm.
back to where I belong. It doesn't
Get
matter if it's
Get back to base
my
camp.
campsite. Yes,
Yeah, I'm out.
back to
I'm
base
not about
camp,
it,
bro.
dude. Yeah, I'm out.
You get back, you're like, what's the problem? I just ran a
Bro.
marathon. Why? My life was on the line.
Saw an alien, dude. I'm out.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
All right.
that's crazy. That is
So,
crazy.
so okay, so that's what I'm talking about. You obviously I can tell where they're at. They're speaking some sort of Arabic. So they're in some sort of Arabic nation when they're speaking.
My
And that's sort of kind of like, bro, hiding in like a cave mountainous
Yeah.
type
And the way
region,
its
like,
voice sounded like gremlin-ish or whatever, that could
see, but
bro, and he's like coming back, be like, bro, where's my treat, bro? Like, let me get something. I need something. Usually when
let
y'all come here, you
me.
leave trash behind. Let me get
I
that gordita
I
crunch, bro.
don't think so. Because I don't know from everything I saw, and I mean, I only did a couple hours of research on them. Not even. They don't really make noises. You just hear knocking. So I don't know.
Hmm.
But again, some people like I think in the US it's considered a spirit.
Uh-huh.
In England it's considered a little like gremlin, little Keebler elf, you know, if you
So
will. So, I mean,
do you think that
could
they're aggressive towards humans?
that's the thing. So that's what I was saying. I don't think they're aggressive towards humans because I haven't seen like no one's been like, oh, it's attacked by a knocker. The whole thing with them is like based on your opinion, are they evil or are they good? Because it's like, are they knocking? Is the knocking you hear them breaking the support beams to start a cave in? Or is it a warning saying there's going to be a cave in? You know what I'm saying? There was a mining shaft, I can't remember where it was, where all the workers refused to work. All of the miners refused to work until they flushed out all the knockers. Like they legit called somebody to flush out the knockers. They wouldn't work.
So
So like it's
if you
like
got a bunch of grown men saying it, dude, then I kind of believe
that's what
something
I'm
behind
saying.
it.
Like it's crazy. And like even some I don't know what I think I want to say spelunkers because I think those are the people that go into caves and they like dive around and they're,
Mhm.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure,
I think that's what they're called. Yeah.
but the people that explore caves and stuff, like even now, like people are like I guess that you discern like do you if you get lost or whatever when you hear knocking, do you go towards the knocking thinking it's like, oh,
Nope.
maybe that's
Nope.
the
Nope. If
knocker
somebody needs
telling
help,
you where to go?
I need help.
Bro, you're
Not
deep in the cave,
not
bro.
no, man. Nobody's knocking in the cave that needs help,
No, no,
bro.
no, no. That's what I'm saying. When you are lost, are you hearing a knock? Do you go deeper or like because if you get lost in a cave, you don't know which way's out. Do you
Mhm.
believe that the knocker is telling you to go deeper to where you
Hmm.
get stuck and you die in that cave? Or do you believe that it's trying to save you? So at that point, I guess it's based on your point of
Discernment.
view. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like you're like, oh man, I think the knockers, like I said, the knockers are warning me there's gonna be a cave in. I gotta get
That's
out.
why you bring 60 bags of Skittles with you and you leave one every freaking inch you go, bro.
And you got the
It
knocker.
doesn't make any sense, bro. It's like I'm going cave diving today. It's like you bring your Skittles. It's like, why did I bring Skittles? It's like, why did I bring Skittles?
Why would you bring
Why do I want
Skittles?
to die today?
The knocker would start eating the Skittles, and
The
then you get
knocker's not gonna
lost.
eat no Skittles, bro.
I just
Oh,
told
you
you.
did say that. You
I just
did
told you
say,
the miners would leave
ooh.
half their sandwich as an offering, bro.
Okay, so what do you leave? You don't leave you don't leave food.
You
You
get
bring a
colored
bag of
pebbles, bro.
couple colored marbles, bro.
Colored
Same thing.
pebbles. You like
Pebbles, pebbles.
fish rocks. I don't know.
Yeah, something. Landmarks, bro. You have to, or bring chalk and mark the wall
That's
this
true.
way.
Actually, I think that's what
Arrows,
I honestly I feel like that's what people do. Like
chalk,
when they like they like mark the wall.
like with arrows.
Yeah, I think
You're
that might
smart.
be the smart way. Any cave dwellers in our chat, you can let us know how you mark your way out of a cave. Just saying.
Yeah, I would definitely think that chalk would be a good idea now that I think about it.
Yeah.
All right,
Absolutely.
so
What you
I
got
have
for us, Dave?
I heard a theory, okay, on a creature, and we've been kind of glorifying this creature for however long the entertainment business has been around. But the vampire, there's been movies
Dracula.
throughout time that have depicted the vampire or Dracula, so to speak. And This one guy has this theory, and he was on Joe Rogan show one time talking about it, and I don't believe in it, but it's one of the more interesting theories I've ever heard on Dracula in my entire life. And I'm
Oh
about to
yeah.
send it. I'm about to send it to you right now, and I want to get y'all's honest reaction on it.
Is it a
Okay.
video or is it a?
It's a short. It's a short.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
small short, and the guy explains it. And I want y'all's honest response on this. And this is a great theory, okay? And I don't believe this, but somebody said this. I was like, dude, I've never thought about like this. It's almost like when you see a cop go through a light, you never think that maybe they just have to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought that.
Huh.
It's a good
I
thought,
did.
right?
Funny enough,
Was
I
it-
did see a sticker. It's like, if I'm speeding, I have to poop. And I was like, dude, I need that sticker, bro.
It's
It's this one character, which is this idea where a branch off upper primate that would be 10 times more intelligent than a human, that would keep the human numbers in check. It's so intelligent, and it can hold, like the way that you're conscious or I'm conscious now, it can hold 2 or 3 or 4 versions of consciousnesses like that in its head at any given moment. So it can look at topics from multiple real points of view. That basically goes into hibernation. It lets the human population build up, and then when it comes out of hibernation, over a few generations, its existence may have been turned into myth or something, and then it hunts the population down again, right? So because its brain structure is so different, its visual cortex is different to a human, and it calculates like horizontal and vertical simultaneously. It's like a pattern recognition system for hunting. And up until a few thousand years ago, there were no right angles in nature, but humans started building Euclidean geometry buildings. That caused an overlap in its visual cortex. It sent the vampires into grand mal epileptic seizures. So we misinterpreted that as holding up crosses. It's this one
Bro,
character, which is this idea where a bronze.
Okay, it's crazy, but think
Hold
about
on,
it for
bro.
a second.
The reason
dude.
why I'm laughing
It's
is
not-
because the one time it shows Joe Rogan, he's just like,
yeah, dude, he's
That's pretty funny.
he's like, dude, this is wild. But
for
bro,
like the 1 second, he's just like,
it's nuts to think that like
dude, that's
there's
crazy.
this super primal creature that just it's like the devil. It's like he goes
A
into
hunter.
hibernation for 1,000 years
A
and
hunter.
then comes out of hibernation and just everything's
That-
gone, bro.
The executioner.
Yes. Judge, jury, executioner, and just
Yeah.
finishes
Did
everybody.
you
And
just say
everybody just,
Judge Judy, bro?
bro,
No,
everybody,
judge,
it's
jury, executioner.
No, I
It's-
know.
crazy to think that like that theory goes into like this weird, like it resets the world and the world starts over. And then it grows from a small portion into a large portion. He comes out of hibernation and just decimates everybody.
Huh.
That's wild.
That
That's
is
wild.
wild.
All right, so there's-
wow.
I don't necessarily believe in any of that at all. I don't think that there was ever a human that really sucked blood to stay alive. I don't think that. That's immortal that stays around for centuries. I don't
Dude,
believe
what
that
you're
there's
saying is
I don't think I don't think there's a
Vlad
creature.
the Impaler, who was
He was the only real Dracula.
he
is
he was the one that was like what Dracula was modeled after, right? Vlad the Impaler.
correct.
You don't think he drank
Correct.
blood?
He did drink blood, but he wasn't a vampire. Like he
Yeah, but,
wasn't
I mean-
like what we depict as a vampire, which is somebody who needs blood to stay alive, somebody who turns into a bat when he needs to, someone who is immortal, someone who has love that he has lost that he tries to gain, and that woman just becomes a part of his immortal fatal design, which is
Hmm.
it's I love you, you die. I love you, you die. And he kills everything else around it because he's hurt. There's no creature like that, right? But it's crazy to think that there's like a Vlad the Impaler type esque person. But the way he's thinking is like this thing is like Predator, bro.
Mm.
Not like a vampire, like Predator, like the movie Predator, which is even crazier to think, dude, that there's a creature that just goes around and just every 1,000
Murks.
years or marks everything.
Hmm.
It's impossible.
Is it impossible?
I
Is
think it's
it, though?
impossible for sure.
I
All
don't
right.
know. I mean,
Pretty nuts.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So in Job, the book of Job,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
all right, God talks about two characters and introduces Job to two characters. Okay. Behemoth, a beast with like really strong legs, has like a really stiff tail. So just like imagine just
an
like a
ankylosaurus, a big turtle
call
with a mace tail.
call it whatever kind of dinosaur you want to, really. Right. And Leviathan, which is a sea dwelling dragon that breathes fire. All
Okay.
right. So
Picadilla.
both of them, Leviathan is, in my opinion, what we were talking about earlier, like a Godzilla, or maybe even like a Kraken type creature, or like
Mhm.
what is it? Like a Loch Ness monster,
Hmm.
right? And
The
I
Lizard King.
I desolation of smog, but underwater. Pretty baller, bro. But like, um, talking about Leviathan here, talking about him crushing hunters when he raises. This is in Job 41:25 through 29. When he raises himself up, the mighty are afraid. At the crashing, they are beside themselves. Though the sword reaches him, it does not avail, nor the spear, the dart, or the javelin. Now imagine that. None of those things can hurt him whatsoever. He counts iron as straw. Think about that. Iron back then was swords, spears. It was straw to him. It was nothing.
Mhm.
Hmm.
The arrow cannot make him flee. Bronze was like rotten wood.
Hmm.
His sneezings flash forth light like fire, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the dawn. Dude, that's nuts. Could you imagine opening your eyes and they're just like fire, like the sun? Out of his mouth goes like flaming torches, sparks from the fire leap forth. Out of his nostrils comes forth smoke as a boiling pot, and burning rushes. His breath kindles coals and a flame. Bro, we're talking about a freaking dragon.
Bags.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
feels
my thing is, this is the Old Testament. Are they talking about like a volcano in the middle of the ocean?
Hmm.
Like these are the things that I think about. I'm like, what
Hmm.
are they seeing and how are they describing it? They're talking
Huh.
about Behemoth being like next to a riverside, right? It's got a long tail. What if they're just describing like a mountainside and they're next to each other, like a mountainside next to a
so
volcano,
so what you're saying is it's actually just literary,
like literary, like landforms.
like
Giant,
art,
bro.
what
They
is it
were
called?
they were just
So it's
describing what
art
they saw.
it's artistic gosh,
Descriptions.
no, what is it
Huh.
called when you artistic license? So you're telling me the Book of Job, when they're talking about Behemoth and Leviathan, is just artistic licensing on like a mountain volcano?
Hmm.
That would be insane.
So
That's
like Job 38:4 says, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. So it's like, what is he talking about? Like to think maybe what if their enemy is up on the mountain and they're like shooting arrows and throwing spears and knives and swords and nothing ever. Think about it. You've seen Vikings, right? The show Vikings. When they come up against the wall against the French, they can't do anything.
Mhm.
They're finished from Jump Street.
Not till Floki builds the wall at
Not
us.
till Floki can get the boats up there.
Floki!
Can you do this? I can do this, Ragnar.
I could do this for sure.
All right. So, um, you know, main question is whether or not like Job is merely angry and he like is just putting his frustrations out there, or is this like a real threat, like a real physical
Like a
threat?
dragon.
Because remember we talked about it like in the New Testament, like your battles aren't against like flesh, they're
Mhm.
against other things. So like, you know, Job 49:13 is like, have you an arm like God? And can you thunder with a voice like his? Adorn yourself with majesty and dignity, clothe yourself with glory and splendor. I don't know what they're talking about. Honestly, I am no theologian. I do not know. I'm not a biblical scholar. I don't know anything about reading the Bible other than studying it for myself and reading it for what I believe to be all truth. But I just believe that they are touching on things that they see around them.
Mhm.
But there's lots of things that, you know, over time, like the Loch
Sorry.
Ness monster,
Mm-hmm.
like the Kraken, like Megalodon. I mean, what if, or Godzilla, what if all of these creatures are the same? You don't see them, but for so like every so often, and they
What
just,
about Jet Jaguar?
what is it?
You never heard of Jet Jaguar?
Mm-mm.
He's what?
Jet?
Yeah, he's an alien that he's it's a superhero pretty much.
Oh.
Really? What
Yeah,
is it?
it's an old Japanese show. They had this beta pod, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he would activate it, and for like I think 3 minutes, he becomes this giant robot, and he pretty much saves Japan.
So Ben 10.
No, because he becomes like an alien. I was more joking because that's definitely fiction. You know, it was just like I think it's Jet Jaguar. It's not Cyberman, is it?
David, share this right here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Jet Jaguar. That's right. And
Yeah.
he would like fight like giant monsters like Godzilla pretty much. It's just like an old TV show that, one of those things. I just thought it'd be funny. But you think that could be real? You know what I'm saying?
I think that things, when they're thought about, I think that there is some validity to them and there is some truth to them because they are a thought and
Like
process.
it happened in another universe, and our dreams are just us tapping into that other universe.
Could very quite possibly be that, yeah.
Whoa, bruh.
Is this just like explains
It
what?
just kind of explains a little bit like what I was talking about.
The Leviathan looks dope.
In Christianity, the Leviathan is a sea monster or dragon that is associated with chaos and destruction. The exact nature of the Leviathan is unclear. Some people understand it to be a literal sea monster that causes destruction and chaos, while others consider it to be a symbol of evil and the forces of darkness. In Christian folklore, the Leviathan is also described as one of the 7 princes of hell, a group of the 7 most powerful demons that rule hell. He has the ability to grant knowledge and understanding, as well as the power to heal and cure various ailments. He also has the ability to shapeshift into different beings.
So that's wild to think that like he's not just kind of glued to one form.
So since we're on this Leviathan thing, and we're kind of on the track of like right now religious folklore kind of stuff.
Yes.
Could Leviathan have been Jormungand or whatever, right? So it's a snake that pretty much encompasses the world and holds the water in, right? And it ends
Okay.
up fighting Thor. Okay. So we've just attached that
That's what I'm saying. Like it's all
Christianity,
got
right?
some weird connection. Like
I saw a
Hmm.
video, right? Since we're on that whole change of point of view thing. Okay. I don't personally believe this, but do you think I saw a video? The premise of this video that I had seen is that in Norse mythology, Loki ends up killing or getting all the other gods killed, right? And then from there on, he's able to rewrite the history of the world and making him pretty much the sole god and then he's able to make him God himself. Like everyone,
Mhm.
what we believe as the Bible was actually written by Loki. Because so much stuff fits, but it also doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Because all
Mhm.
religion is pretty much in one way one religion, right? There are so many similarities between other religions, and so that's what the theory is. When the guy
Except
explains it,
except Jesus is our king, bruh.
yeah,
Mine. He mine.
he's mine too. But that's the thing, and obviously I don't believe that so much, but it's kind of cool to
It's definitely really neat to see all the parallels. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
to kind of see how they all kind of run alongside with each other for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But anyways,
David, what do you got?
Mine is super lame compared to those. It was literally just basically what it was is it's a giant wolf that when it like how it eats or survives is it goes out because wolves normally, like everybody knows, wolves hunt in packs, right? But
yeah.
this wolf, it would hunt alone and it would target hunters who were hunting alone.
Bro, this is like that apex predator, bro.
I thought it was pretty interesting,
That's pretty cool, dude.
Hmm.
but it's not like a regular wolf that is just like different from everybody else. No, it's a giant wolf that preys on people that are doing exactly what he's doing. The lone wolf hunting the lone hunter. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And
Like
then
Norse
yeah,
mythology. They have it
and
in
the
like
other
the Viking world.
Well, they
and
got
the other
Fenrir.
Fenrir,
the
yeah.
other the other one I saw, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's called Shoujo, Shojl.
Well,
Okay.
Sojo is a type of anime. I'm sure it's the same thing.
What is
In
it, David?
Japan, it's a mythical creature that lives in the water. They have bright red hair, resemble monkeys, and are able to speak like humans.
So
What in
they're
the
just
world?
they're just
Mermaids.
ugly
Ugly
sirens.
mermaids. Ugly
Well,
mermaids.
mermaids have fishtails, right? You said they're like monkeys.
Resemble monkeys, yeah. And they're able to so they're monkey mermaids, basically.
Well,
Japanese monk.
they can't be a mermaid because they don't have a fin, bro. They're
How do
just
you spell
monkeys.
it?
It says they live in the water.
Shojo.
Shojo. It says they live in the water.
Yeah, they could live in the water and not have, fishtail.
Oh yeah.
You're confusing two. Maybe that's how people got mermaids. I don't know. I guess I always thought mermaids looked more like the mermaids you would think of, like in Harry Potter.